come and do a straps conditioning session with me. Basically, I start with a warm-up. I do it's a mix between conditioning and a warm-up on the ground. First, engage my core. I do scissor dishes. I then do reverse lower back lifts, engaging my core, squeezing my glutes, just lifting the lower heels. Then I do the upper back, so I'm just lifting the upper back, trying to keep my feet on the ground. And I'm really squeezing the glutes there. Then I do reverse V-snap, so I'm lifting both the lower half and the upper body at the same time to really strengthen the small muscles in my back. Then I do wrist push-ups. They look weird, I know, but they're really great for warming up the wrists and strengthening the forearms and the wrists. And then I do these shoulder shrugs, which is a shoulder stability warmer. I then do some sumo squats with my legs turned out, just to warm up the hips. I engage my glutes, engage the core. I'm just loosening everything up. I did legs the day before, so it's a bit tight, and it's very great to just really warm and loosen everything up. Back to the wrist push-ups, strengthening those forearms, then the shoulder shrugs again. I like to do 3 sets of these, 3 sets of 10, to really make sure my shoulders are warm. I then do these side V-snaps. I'm engaging my core. I'm lifting the lower half and the upper half at the same time. I'm really focusing on the obliques, but also engaging the core. So I'm really working through the core at the same time in this sideways lift. These are really great for meat hooks and also to get that V-line on your abs. That's a nice side effect. But you do need to do quite a few of these. But these are just more of a conditioning for me, so they really help my hip lock climbs as well, meat hook presses, slow change or flare to meat hook, everything like that. Now I'm doing Superman swimmers. So I'm engaging the glutes, keeping the knees straight and lifting the arms, the upper back and the lower back up. Sometimes if I'm fatigued, I won't lift my upper back as high or my lower back. It's more just to activate and strengthen all those tiny little stabilizers through the back. This is my 3rd set of wrist push-ups and shoulder shrugs, 10 of each of these again. I also did a TheraBand warm-up, which will be a different video, and I do a stretch in between sets, which will also be a different video. And here I'm doing squats with my knees facing forward. I'm just starting to activate everything, warm everything up more. So I'm starting to go lower with the hips, really engaging through the glutes and the core. Now I'm doing elbow taps, really in a plank position, really pushing through the shoulders, engaging the core. I'm touching each elbow, trying to keep the body as straight as possible. And then I do a Superman hold with the legs together. So this works a slightly different part of the back. I'm engaging the glutes. I keep my knees straight, arms straight, and hold. Now I'm doing what I call windscreen wipers. It's a really, really great ab and core exercise. I really engage through the core, and I bring my diagonally from side to side, really making sure my core is engaged the whole time so I don't use the lower back. Now I'm doing windscreen circles, to give it an even weirder name, and I'm really bringing the hips all the way around, using my core, lifting the legs, then straight up and down with the core. Now this combination really activates, strengthens through the core. All those tiny muscles really help your leg lifts on any aerial apparatus and your meat hook presses on any aerial apparatus. So these are really important, and I like to do them in my warm-up frequently just to make sure everything's strong and activated and warm. Then I do a dish hold, again, engaging the core. Because this is a warm-up, I'm not holding everything for as long as I would. I'm not doing as many sets. But you can do this as a conditioning exercise on its own, separately. Now, I like to go into my little hip lifts. These are tricep hip lifts. I do 3 sets of 8. Try to keep the elbows in, and I lift my hips up and down. And these are great for back salts on the strap. and straps and also conditioning in general. Then I go to my triceps lifts, oh, it's a tongue twister, on the box. And I'm keeping my elbows in again, but I'm using the box, making sure my glutes are engaged and my hips are up nice and high. I bring my chest up and down, and it varies, but today 3 sets of 8. And then I really like to take a bit of a rest in between. It depends on how much time I have as to how long the rest might be. Then I do the wide arm chest press. So it's like a chest press with your elbows bent. It's the same thing with your legs on the box. I'm squeezing the glutes and I'm bringing my chest up and down. And this is great to work the chest. Then I like to move on to skin the cats. And I usually do a set that's not as deep for the first one, and then I bring the hips down lower. And so I'm really working on my shoulder flexibility and extended ranges of motion, as well as just really warming everything up, strengthening through the shoulders. And I try to do this very controlled. I'm engaging the core. I then bring my hips down even lower to try and straighten my body by the third set. So again, depending on which area of the session I do these as to how deep I'll bring the hips down. And if I'm doing them in the beginning, I'll do a few sets without as much of an extension through the shoulders, and then I'll do the last set deeper. Then I do press to nutcracker into press to meat hook, and I do this on each arm. So I'm really engaging my core, keeping the knees straight. Sometimes I do these meat hook presses with my legs together. Sometimes I scissor the legs. I like to mix it up because it uses slightly different muscle groups, and the scissored leg version is easier. So if I'm tired or I have a big session or big sessions that day, I'll do more of the split leg press to meat hook as opposed to keeping my feet together the whole time when I'm pressing up into meat hook. Engage, tongue twisted again, making sure I keep my core engaged, really bringing the hips up, compressing through the upper body one vertebrae at a time by using the core and the abs, not the back. This is very important because you want to have a strong back and you don't want to injure it. Then I like to do some chin-ups because they're useful for many things, especially front salts, everything, and just conditioning in general. I'm doing more of a close grip here with my wrists turned in and my elbows in. So they're different to when I do them on a chin-up bar or even on the silks or rope. Then I go to flag to meat hook. So it's more of like a slow change exercise. I'm going through, I'm warming up the shoulders, and I'm also strengthening them at the same time, trying to keep my core, my hips and my knees really close to my face. I engage the core and I'm controlling through each transition. I do these on both arms, obviously. Always do everything on both arms. I don't care what anyone tells you, you do both arms. I got told by different coaches, just do one arm. No, do both, because you never know in a show when one arm's sore, or a specific skill needs to be on one arm and a different skill on the other arm. But for straps especially, you need to be ambidextrous. You need to do both arms, and also to prevent imbalances. Otherwise you're going to have a twisted back, one big arm, one small arm, and all sorts of issues. So now I'm doing, again, the slow change exercises, except I go to nutcracker. So I'm controlling, I'm letting my hips come down, and I go from meat hook to nutcracker without bringing my legs down to the floor in between. And I don't do max reps because it's more of a warm-up, so I'll do a few sets and more exercises within the session, and then some straps training after. If it's a full conditioning session, I will do more. So again, really engaging through the core, hips down, bringing the feet around, and trying to keep your arm touching your body the whole time as you transition from meat hook to nutcracker. And that's the same when you're transitioning from meat hook to flag. You want to really keep your arm pressing against your body. So you can really keep that center of gravity close. As soon as you let your hips drop away from the straps, you're going to put a lot more pressure on the shoulder. It's going to be a lot harder to lift your hips up, and you are increasing your risk of a shoulder injury. Doing a little cheeky stretch. Again, I usually stretch in between sets. I like to just keep everything limber. We'll have a separate video on that. But it's important. When I rest, I don't like to just sit down and do nothing. I like to just keep the body moving and work on other things. So I'm resting my arms, but I'm gently loosening everything up. I'm stretching, especially when I don't have heaps of time. I will do less of a stretch in the beginning and do more of a stretch throughout the session to keep everything warm and flexible. Now I'm doing press to flag, and you can hold these for longer, the flags. Again, depends on how tired you are, how many sets of everything you're doing, how long your session is. But these are more just a little drill, so I'm not holding the flag for a long time. It is a good idea to do flag holds as well. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you soon, guys.